Do subscribe to Ekeeda channel and press bell icon to get updates about latest engineering, HSC and IIT JEE main and advanced videos.
So, rate law means it is defined as an experimentally determined equation that expresses the rate of a chemical reaction in terms of molar concentration of reactant. So, let me tell you a brief idea that what is rate law. The rate law says that it is directly proportional to the reactant's concentration raised to an experimental component. So basically, if the reactant concentration or the concentration of reactant is more, of both the reactants are more, then the rate of the reaction will also be more. The rate will be more increased if the concentration of reactant is increased. So let us study in deep detail according to the rate law. So let's move further. On a given screen, I have mentioned a general reaction in which A moles of A will react with B moles of B to give product. So as I mentioned earlier also, according to rate law, I have said you that the rate of the reaction will directly depend on the concentration of reactants. So in this case, the rate is directly proportional to the concentration of reactant, in this case A and in this case B. But since you also know that the rate law is based on an experimental reactions or it is an experimental criteria. So in that case, we have a value of x and y which are the experimental components and they are raised to the concentration of reactant. So therefore x and y are the experimental exponents. So therefore this thing we could write it as, because there is a proportionality, we could equate this thing as rate is equals to k into a raised to x into b raised to y. And what is k actually? K is nothing but the rate constant. And what is rate constant? Let us see now. So rate constant is defined as the rate of reaction when the molar concentration of each reactant is taken as unity. Means the concentration that we are taking in this rate law should be in molar. Means moles per dm cube. The concentration value should be in moles per dm cube. So therefore suppose if according to rate law, if I have mentioned rate is equals to k a raised to x and b raised to y, and if a is 1 molar, so means 1 raised to x is nothing but 1 itself. Again, if b raised to y, and again if b is also 1 molar, means b raised to y is nothing but 1 itself. So therefore, if a is equals to b, which is of 1 molar, that is of 1 unit molar, then only rate will be equals to k. And according to that, the definition is very much valid, that it is defined as the rate of the reaction when the molar concentration of each reactant is taken as unity. So the rate constant is equals to the rate of reaction when the concentration of reactants, that is A or B, the both are unity or the both are 1. So moving to the further thing, that is what is rate law. I have given an example, or I have mentioned an example in this case. In this case, I have mentioned 2 times peroxide, hydrogen peroxide will give you 2 times H2O plus O2. So the rate law of this reaction is given as what? So as you already know, the rate depends on the rate law depends on the concentration of reactant only. So in this case, I would write the rate law as rate is directly proportional to the concentration of reactant. In this case, the concentration of reactant is H2O2. And let me tell you, it has been found that the concentration of H2O2 has an experimental value, that is, it should be raised to x. And in this case, the experimental value or experimental exponent x is equals to 1. Therefore, the rate is equals to k into H2O2. So in this case, you have seen that the rate is equals to K into H2O2. And let me tell you one more information which is very much important. As you can see, the stoichiometry of this equation is 2, but according to the rate law, it is no 2 mentioned here, because rate law is an experimental theory in which the experimental exponent is equals to 1. So it is not necessary that for a reaction the stoichiometric value should be equal to the experimental exponents. So by this thing we have understood what is rate law. So for different reaction and for different condition, the rate law will be behaving differently based on the concentration of reactant or based on the experimental components. So thank you friends for watching this video. I hope you have liked this video and you have understood that what is rate law in very deep, and according to that you have also know what is rate constant. So thank you friends for watching this video, and please don't forget to subscribe Ekeeda channel. Thank you so much.